Ed, you've been looking at some earphones.
Yeah, Bowers and Wilkins have replaced the highly regarded PX7 with the tremendously imaginatively named PX7 S2. Good work, guys. It must have been a brainstorming session to end all brainstorming sessions to come up with that one. I'm being facetious, obviously, because this actually, the use of S2 is sort of significant, because for the previous generations, they didn't go to S2s. We had P7, I believe, became PX, became PX7. So this is the first time where actually Bowers has felt sufficiently happy with the basic formula of what they've done to market this as a revision to the original rather than an all new piece of equipment. That being said, and I'll cover this much covered in depth in the review, trust me on this one, there are lots of differences. If you put the two side by side, they are not the same. A lot has changed. It's not we've painted it a different color, have a nice time. They've done a number of different things to it, but much more interesting, and to a given value of interesting, is that at the same time that they announced the PX7 S2, they also announced the PX8, which is, I believe, £500. It's going to come out in the autumn. Now, you can accuse me of breathtaking cynicism at this point, but my interest when I was listening to the PX7 S2 was presumably for the PX8 to make sense, that has to be where all the fireworks have gone. This is going to be I figured that this was going to be a revision, and it couldn't possibly be sensationally good, because that would mean that the PX8, well, what would be the point in that? I'm now very, very interested to listen to the PX8, because this is a significant step forward over the original. It sounds better. It has a number of little tweaks, which is interesting, again, as much in the way that it's been marketed as what's been engineered. Bowers and Wilkins headphones for, nearly 10 years now have had angled drivers inside the enclosures. And they've made a big play of this up until the PX7, when it barely figured in the marketing copy. And I actually dug out the beauty of Gmail is that it keeps every press release going back to the year dot. So I was able to dig out the original press release, and the PX7 press release, they made almost no mention of it. And it's back being a big deal in the PX7 S2. It changes how it gives them Bowers headphones a very distinctive sound. There are caveats to that. If you use crossfeed with it, I don't think it works very well at all, but most Bluetooth headphones don't use crossfeed, so that's fine. It's a very distinctive performance. It's extremely open, airy. It pushes information in front of you, which, as you know, is purely a psychological effect when the speakers are bolted to the side of your head. But nevertheless, it pushes information forwards. It's an extremely good listen. And the other really clever thing, I won't go on at length about this, because, as I say, there is a full review to go up on the site, is it's recognizably still a Bowers and Wilkins headphone. It's recognizably a descendant of the original PX7, but there are certain aspects of the PX7 which I didn't like very much. I didn't think they were as nice as the PX that it replaced. It's almost like someone in Bowers and Wilkins has taken a pair of PXs out of the stock cupboard and gone, actually, we did that better there. There's little bits of the older headphones seem to have crept back in, and I prefer the result, both in terms of its industrial design and its comfort. I think this is a useful step forward. It's an extremely capable product. You can see, obviously, that if those of you watching the YouTube video, either live or later, it's a 9 out of 10 best buy. It's an excellent product. But the main takeaway from this is I now desperately want to hear what the PX8 can do.
And what's the difference in price there?
Not as much as, the PX8 is not a competitor for some of these £1,000 jobs that are hitting the market. I believe it's £500. Although inflation being what it is, who knows? By the time we actually get to release point, that could be very exciting. Yeah. But obviously it's supposed to be meaningfully better. There's some driver tech which Bowers is still not talking about at this point, which they are very proud of. So yeah, I have high hopes for it. Hopefully it will sneak in under the closing garage door of the editor's choice deadline, and we can see what we can do from there. So
excellent. Well, look forward to that. The review will be up later this week, so if you're interested in Ed's full thoughts, you can get a snippet on the video. Full review will be up later this week, so keep an eye on the homepage for that.